All right, I'm picking up part 2 for the review for tomorrow. Number 7, last problem on the paper copy of the review you got in class. Graphing inequalities, just kind of as a reminder, these inequality signs, those are going to give you whether or not it's a dotted line or a solid line, and that depends on whether it has equal to or not underneath it. So that's why I'm doing that there. So this second one is going to be a solid line. This first one is going to be a dotted line. So I'm going to go in with the graphing first. Now, if you're not good with getting the graph from the inequality onto the grid, then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the calculator to come up with points and get it done from there. So for this first one, I'm going to do that one in blue. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the calculator and put that into there. All right, once I have the equation in, I'm going to go to the table and just find some numbers to graph. So 0 and 1, 0 and 1, 4 and 4, 4, 4, and there aren't going to be any others over here that I can fit in, so let's do -4, -2, -4, -2. All right, there we go. I'm going to go ahead and draw the line. All right, so there's my line for that first one. It's a dotted line again. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to go in and I'm going to do the second one. I'm going to do it in green. And again, I'm just going to go to the calculator, put in the equation, look at the table. All right, equation's in, second graph, checking out the table. I'm going to get some points that'll actually fit on here. So those are all good, and I'm going to go ahead and plot those real quick. All right, so now that I have some points graphed here, I'm going to go ahead and draw my line again. Because this is equal to, it is going to be a solid line. All right, and there's my solid green line. Now, for both of these graphs, the shading is going to be below. I know that because both of these are less than inequalities. Now, I had questions about this second graph here. What's less than? Here's one of the points. Now, if I go down from that point, or really any other point on the graph, that portion is going to be less than. So for the green one, I'm shading down. For the blue one, I'm also going to be shading down. You can already see where there's going to be an overlap where they're both going to be shaded here. I'm going to go ahead and do the shading now. All right, all shaded. And this dark green area here, that's where the solutions are going to be. All right, I'm going to move on to the second set of review questions. All right, so here are the bonus questions, or the extra review questions. This first one, how do you figure out which of these sets of equations is going to work for this problem? An exam has that many points, that many questions. So you know it has to add up to 30 or 189. They all seem to do that. Multiple choice questions, so M for multiple choice, are worth 5. So 5 yes, 8 no, 8 no. And essay questions are worth 8, so yes, yes. The total points, that's 5 points, 8 points has to add up to 189. That's 5 points, and 8 points adds up to 30 questions, which is not points. Multiple choice plus essay questions adds up to 30 questions. C is going to be correct here. Okay. Next one. All right, so this is just going to be a second example of finding a solution for a system. I'm going to leave this here, give you a chance to write it down and work on getting a solution yourself. Then I'm going to put the solution there. All right, so the full solution is 2, 1. The y value of the solution is 1. That's what's specifically asked for here. Now I'm going to put all the work up. All right, and there's the full solution. Substituted, combined terms, solved the two-step, plug the x value back in, got the y value. I'll leave that up for a second. You can pause it if you need to. All right, moving on. I'm just going to talk real quick about some exponential growth and decay. Some of the basics. Initial value. You know that this is growth because this is greater than 1. So that 3 would translate into 300%. That's more than 100% its growth. Whereas over here, this would be decay. because 0.7 would translate into 70%, and that's less than 100. The initial value here would be 2. The growth factor is the number in parentheses, so I'm going to put parentheses here, and I'm going to put 3. Again, it's the number in parentheses here, so that'd be 0.7. The rate, well, I'm going to do the y-intercept real quick because that's easier. Really, you're just going to be using your calculator for that. So I'm going to pull up the calculator. I'm going to put this first one in. All right, I got that first function in there. I'm just going to jump into the table. Second graph, 0, 300. There's my y-intercept, 0, 300. By the way, this number, that's the y-intercept. So here my y-intercept would be 0, 2. All right, y-intercept done. Now the rate is different, and you're going to get the rate from the percentage that's there for the growth factor, the decay factor. So this is 300%, that's the factor. Now to get the rate, what you're going to look at is starting from 100%, what do you have to have, what kind of growth do you have to get 300%? So to go from 100% to 300%, you'd have to add 200%. You can calculate that, just go in here, 300, take away 100, and 200%. So your rate is actually a growth rate of 200%. While over here for the decay, since 70 is less than 100%, so 100% minus something to get you 70%. Again, you just go in here and say, all right, 100, take away 70. 70 equals, okay, 30%. So over here, 100 minus 30% would be 70. So my decay rate is 30%. All right, I'm going to move on to a couple more. All right, so simplifying some expressions, dealing with the exponents. This I feel like most people have a problem with. So I'm going to kind of approach this first one in two ways. One of them, I'm just going to multiply the parts together and add the exponents. The other one, I'm going to flip it and do subtraction. Okay, so numbers like 4 and 3 are just going to get multiplied normally. So I'm going to get 12 from that. Next, I'm going to take my a's and I'm going to multiply those together. So a to the third and a to the negative fourth. Because I'm multiplying these two things together, I'm going to be adding up the exponents. So 3 and negative 4 is a with a negative 1. Same thing for the b's. So b squared, b to the negative 3. I'm going to be just adding up those exponents to get b with a negative 1. All right, now that I've done that, because both of these exponents have a negative sign attached, what I'm going to be doing is moving them across the fraction bar. So what I mean by that is that if I did have a fraction here, that because these have negative exponents, they would be moved across the fraction. Now those would be in the lower half, the denominator. So that's one way of looking at this. Here's a second way of getting this done. I'm going to kind of erase so I can get some room. I'm going to leave that result from before. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do something similar, only first I'm going to move these at the very beginning and create a fraction at the start. Still, 4 times 3, that's going to be 12. A to the third, b to the second. I've moved these down and changed the sign. Now what I'm going to do is, looking at each of the exponents, I'm going to say, okay, I know that there are 3 here and 4 here. Well, I can eliminate all 3 of those and just take away 3 from there and leave 1. Same with the b's. I can eliminate 2 b's and take 2 away from here and leave 1, which means I'd still have 12 over an a and a b. Either way, you get the same answer, but you have to know how to use a negative exponent. Over here for number 6, I'm just going to go through the work real quick because I'm running out of time. Anything with a 0 power is going to be 1. Now that those are gone, I'm going to look at these negatives and I'm going to move those across the fraction. Now the x's are going to get multiplied together and my result will be 3x to the 7th because I've added those over yz. Alright, there's the second part of the review. Good luck tomorrow, guys.